ready to go.
Let's go.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa.
Oh, man. Welcome. Welcome. It's Plausible Foolishness. I'm Matt, and I have opinions on stuff.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ray, and I've got opinions on things as well. You ready to get started today, man?
Yes. First of all, you might be wondering, where were you guys last week?
We're banned! Shadow
yeah.
banned! Shadow...
Our live stream got disabled, so...
What?
We uploaded a video. You might have seen it. Episode 26. That was our 6 month...
6 months!
6 month Luniversary?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're in the third trimester now, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
We're in the third trimester now, bro.
This is almost a baby. It's almost a baby worth saving.
It's almost a baby, man. It's almost there. It's almost there, man. I like it. Oh, I gotta make sure you can still see you.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we're streaming live on YouTube right now. I'm gonna put us up on Facebook here in a second, man. But make sure that you're checking us out on YouTube and supporting us everywhere that you can. We want to thank all the Patreons that keep sending us money. Keep sending us your money. We are shills. We will take the money and we will run with it all day long. And we appreciate your support of our program and whatnot. We're trying to get more and more. Can I say sexy on the radio? We're trying to get sexier. As you can see the logo on the top here, right above my head, which is good. I think it would blend in better with my chocolate head. You see that right there?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day...
white words on white background, not the best.
But hey, man, the more you support us, man, the closer we can get to a studio and start growing this bad boy and make it the monstrosity that it is. We're just in our infancy. We're only 6 months in this bad boy. 3 months from now, we're going to shoot out a baby.
Oh
of
gosh.
epic,
It's gonna be a beautiful baby.
mythological,
Beautiful, lightly tanned baby.
lightly tanned baby.
Bald.
So,
The full beard, but
oh man, but we're excited about today, man. But make sure that you're following us on all of our social medias or any of our social media platforms.
you mean these social medias?
Oh, what those? Oh, what?
Yeah, that's right. That's our Instagram.
Yep.
That is our Facebook
Yep.
page and our Twitter.
What?
Check us out.
It's crazy, man. That's
Check it
crazy.
out.
We're everywhere, bro. We're like,
Oh, yeah.
we're expanding faster than the universe itself, and we want you guys to support us and keep rocking and roll with us, man. Here's the deal, man. There's a busy week in the news, man.
Jeez, yeah.
A lot of things going on.
A lot of things.
Oh my goodness, I can't even we were just jacked up talking about it, and I'm just fired up, man. We're trying to save our best juice for the show because sometimes we ramble before and stuff like that. But guess what? We got our best stuff for the show, man. But so there's this lady called ocasio-cortez googly eyes. What do they call her on the Daily Wire? They call her all types of things, man.
Bug eyes.
Bug eyes.
Bug eyes Cortez. I like to call her Alexandria occasionally Cortez.
Occasionally Cortez. That's probably more fitting for what's going on, man. So.
If you don't know who she is, here's a picture.
Oh, I love it. I freaking love it, man. Craziness, man.
Yeah.
Craziness.
So, I mean, you've heard us talk about her,
Of course.
a lot. But
She's the leftist darling right now. I mean, she's the future of the party, man. She's what it's all about, right?
that is true.
She's all that in a bag of potato chips, right? As the kids say.
Well, yeah. I mean, the old guard, the old socialists,
Oh, yeah?
don't really care for her because she's, bombastic and
What?
she took out an incumbent, but otherwise she's
Well, she broke up the swamp with some. So what makes a swamp worse? Like, what could make a swamp worse?
people who think that socialism works.
Oh, so like nuclear waste or something like that.
Yeah. Well, so we've talked about her before, and she doesn't. She's a hardcore socialist, though she doesn't know anything about socialism.
Yeah, that's weird.
And she, she's bad news because she, because She's a socialist. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically. But she's not like this insane threat, except that it doesn't matter that she doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And that she's she couldn't. She can't answer basic questions about what she is running on or anything like that. But that's not what we're talking about today. You've already heard that.
Oh yeah.
But
What's
the
she doing
reason
now?
we're bringing it up is because she
is flying an airplane right now.
Yeah. Apparently. They're just flying planes over us to shut us down.
They're trying to shut us down, man. They tried to shadow ban us last week. They can't stop us this week. Okay,
Right.
go. Sorry.
So she visited a restaurant this week that she used to work at in New York City.
Oh, she used to work there.
And what's interesting about it is that it's the last day that this business is opening. It's the final day of business.
Why? What? I mean, are they expanding or what's happening?
No, they're shutting down.
Oh, they're shutting down.
Yeah, and let's find out why.
Why are they shutting down?
According to the co-owner and president, Charles Mollie,
Okay.
the rents are very high, and now the minimum wage is going up, and we have a huge number of employees.
What?
The times have changed in our industry.
It's clearly the Republican policy, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they like increasing
rent
and increasing
the
minimum wage.
taxes. They increase the taxes.
Right.
Wait, no,
they don't.
They cut corporate tax
Oh,
by
they
a
did?
considerable amount.
Oh, that's weird.
That's weird. So it wasn't taxes. He said rent is going up.
Oh, okay. And New York's like a dominant Republican area, right?
Well, no. Here's the most important part. Here's what I think it is. The minimum wage is going up.
Oh.
You know what? But isn't that something that occasionally Cortez supports?
I think she clearly supports that, right? Isn't that a good thing? Like more people getting more money for serving coffee and flipping burgers and stuff like that?
Isn't that the question?
Yeah, I mean that's better. Because like that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be the rest of your life is flipping burgers, right?
Totally.
And I mean nothing against baristas. We love our baristas. I have Starbucks stock, but at the end of the day, like, they should have a livable wage, right?
That is the
That's
selling
the idea,
point.
right? That's the selling point. Okay, gotcha.
They need a living wage.
Yes.
Here's the problem, and this is why we brought this story up.
Problem?
Yeah, there's a problem when the government forces wages.
What, that happens?
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Sorry. I had to do it. It was perfect timing.
But that is the problem. It's artificial. So they're artificially inflating the cost of labor.
Okay.
See, we
how's
don't
that
look
bad?
at it like it.
How's that bad?
Well, the problem is that we're not even looking at it like that.
Okay.
That labor is it's a contract.
Yeah. Some would say it's a good. It's like a goods or services,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
You're selling your time and effort to a business for their capital, for their money.
And it's, I mean, it's good for us to get more, right?
It is good for us to get more, except that this is artificial.
Oh, okay.
And so when you artificially raise the cost of labor, then that spreads into one of two. That only ends in one of two ways.
Okay.
Either the cost of goods go up.
Okay.
So effectively making that living wage unlivable, or businesses have to shut down because they can't afford it.
You're missing option 3.
What is option 3?
A socialist utopia.
Oh,
where everybody, like, it's Star Trek, everybody doesn't pay anything, there's no more war or sin or evil,
okay.
and there's, everybody is incentivized to work really hard even though they're not going to get paid anything.
Well, but here's the
That's the Star Trek utopia.
Yeah, that is the Star Trek utopia.
I saw it on TV.
But we're missing several key components of the Star Trek utopia.
Like what?
Like the, what's it called? Oh, now I've forgotten the word.
Klingons?
No, not Klingons.
Phasers?
Not aliens.
Star Trek Enterprise?
No, we're not talking about
gotcha.
the Watchmen.
The Watchmen?
Where aliens unite us. Fake aliens unite us all. No, it's the replicators. The replicator technology.
Oh, gotcha.
So, imagine a world where you don't even have to grow food.
Ooh.
You just have the technology to assemble food for everybody. Nobody goes hungry anymore because food just materializes in this machine.
Isn't that what a 3D printer's for?
I mean, it kind of is. But, I mean, the technology may be down the road.
Okay.
It may be down the road, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not here right now.
Oh, okay.
We still have to work to produce food.
Okay. And that's free, right?
No.
It's not?
No.
Farming's not free?
Why am I going to work harder if I'm not going to make more? We're leaving out incentive.
Oh.
We're leaving out incentive, and we're leaving out, you know, necessities that are in limited supply.
So, I'm a dumb guy. I'm not the intellectual guru on Plausible Foolishness. You rubes, follow us everywhere, and support us on Patreon. Send us money. I'm not the smartest guy on the show. So what you're saying is, if we pay people more for doing the same thing they were doing before, the price of the goods that they're serving will go up.
Yes.
And people will have to either spend more for those things, or the business goes out of business.
Yeah, if people won't pay more for those things.
Therefore, if the business goes out of business, those people don't have jobs.
And thus aren't making a living. Either way, they don't make a living wage.
Oh, that's weird.
So if the prices of goods go up, like we said before, then their money is worth less.
Now, for the loony lefty that's out in California watching us right now on YouTube and Facebook Live, here's the deal. They would say, well, people will pay more. They'll pay more for that stuff, right?
No.
Oh, they won't?
Well, sometimes they do.
Sure.
But then they're paying more for the thing that they used to be able to get for less.
Yeah.
So now the money that they're making, the extra money that they're making, is going to more expensive products. Thus, it just levels out.
Yeah.
You didn't help them.
Yeah.
You just made our dollar worth less.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? You inflated our dollar.
Well, I think it's funny, like, people complain about the gas prices going up. Think about that. Mm-hmm. Anytime gas goes over $3, people freak out. And it hasn't happened for a couple years. It sucks. And the reality is, like, people drive less because they're like, well, hey, man, I can't afford that. Can't do it. You know, so now who gets hurt in those situations? Vacation spots get hurt. Restaurants get hurt. A lot of places get hurt when products go up in pricing. Inflation's not a good thing. It's not. Inflating the price of things does not make you more wealthy. It just shifts the monopoly money. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what people are missing. And I'm a dumb guy, and I understand this as a business owner. Like, when things get more expensive, if I'm selling a product and my product, if my product becomes more expensive, it's harder for me as a business owner to move that product. It's tougher to, right?
Yeah.
And how much money do you make off of no sales? Oh wait, you don't make any, like at all whatsoever. That's so weird. At the end of the day, if a business,
you would if you had a universal basic income.
Oh, a universal basic income. Yeah. That seems like that's another socialist idea, right?
It is another socialist idea.
And like that's a Star Trek socialist idea, and it works, right? Have we seen it work? I mean, they tried it in Finland, right?
They tried it in Finland. They tried it in Canada.
In Canada, yeah.
And let me look it up. Did they?
How they doing there? How they doing in Canada?
Do that?
Let's take a look, man.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
that's right.
Wait a minute.
Canada had a 3-year trial that ended in year 1.
Whoa!
And Finland canceled theirs as well.
But Finland's a socialist utopia. Everybody should get paid for doing nothing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It turns out it's not so much.
Really? What happened to them? I mean, did they run out of money or something?
Well, basically, it didn't have the intended effect.
Oh, okay.
Like,
people are more productive.
The idea is that this will free up these people to kind of like go and pursue, you know, bigger and better.
Okay.
If you will. It's like they're trying. Their claim is to attempt to help pull these people out of poverty.
Okay.
And get them into self-sustaining lifestyles.
Okay. And people are not lazy at all, so people are really productive.
Yeah.
You know.
It didn't actually work that way.
Oh, that's weird.
And they couldn't afford it.
No, that's weird.
So either way, now.
But don't we have that now? We have welfare, right? I mean, welfare like incentivize people. It gets them going and out of poverty and right where they need to be, right?
No, it takes a special kind of person to abhor being on welfare and then.
Well, remember when they got mad that you had to do a drug test to get welfare? Remember when people got mad about that?
Yeah, that was
they instituted that in Ohio. It's weird.
That was weird.
And it got like more people off of welfare. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Capitalism.
So we've seen failure in California. Canada.
Yeah.
And in Finland that have trialed these universal basic income
so
programs.
Before we keep going, this is a socialist idea.
Clearly, yes.
What is the most successful socialist country out there right now? Democratic socialism, like they're trying to push. What's the shining light right now?
I don't know.
Oh, there's not one? Venezuela's like perfect, right?
No, Venezuela's
that's weird.
A horror show.
Oh, people will say like the Scandinavian countries are a beacon of socialist light, right?
Well, they in recent years they've tended to go more
capitalistic.
Conservative, more capitalist.
Oh, that's weird. That's okay. Gotcha. So we're stealing from ideas that work, correct?
No.
Oh, we're not.
No.
So, googly eyes, whatever her name is standing by democratic socialism, and we're going to try to make it work here in America, right?
Well, apparently, we've watched Canada fail, we've watched Finland fail, but good old California will not be deterred.
Oh, California's a paradise.
Yeah, it's doing
I heard
awesome.
San Francisco's beautiful. Yeah, keep on.
So, Mayor Michael Tubbs of Stockton, California is going to trial a universal basic income. It's supposed to last 18 months.
Okay.
Now, here's what's interesting about it.
Okay.
Basically, people, a certain subset of people in poverty are going to start receiving $500 a month for 18 months.
All right.
It's only like 100 residents.
Okay.
So that's $500,000, right?
Okay. So only
$500,000 a month.
Gotcha.
Right.
So this is only for 100 people.
100 people.
Okay.
Okay. Eligible neighborhoods will include those with a median income of $46,000 or less, which would be really poor in California.
Yeah, it's like a $20,000 job here, but yeah.
Which is weird because California is a socialist utopia, and yet the cost of living there is insane.
That's weird.
And I don't think it's because of all the rich celebrities there.
I mean,
it makes sense in the areas that they live, but
sure.
The whole gamut of California is really expensive to live. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I lived in LA for 2 years. It's super expensive to do anything. I mean, we had a 1-bedroom apartment that cost us $1,700 a month.
That's weird.
A 1-bedroom apartment. And here's another crazy thing. The gasoline, wouldn't you know, is more expensive there. It's like $1 more than the rest of the country. And when you know it, you get taxed more for the money that you make, which is crazy. So you make more, but you really don't make more. It's kind of a wash, almost. It's like weird.
Well, you need to be able to fund these programs.
Well, one might say it's inflated. I don't know. Socialist utopia, though.
But, okay, so now...
So is this taxpayer funded?
That's the interesting thing is that there's a group, a nonprofit, I think, called Stockton Economic Empowerment Demonstration that will be providing the money along with several individuals.
Stop. You're talking about a private?
Yeah. This is
a private entity.
This is private donations is doing this. Okay, which is in fact better than the government.
One might say that's like charity or something.
Yeah, it's charity.
Not my wife, but charity.
Yes. The actual.
No, charitable contribution, helping out the poor. Okay, keep going. Yeah. Sorry, I'm intrigued.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
It's just a trial.
Oh, they're not going to keep the model that way.
Probably not.
So after 18 months, then the program will end because government always ends their programs, right?
That never happens. That's never true.
Oh, what? What?
Well, and then they haven't said. I mean, it is a trial.
Okay.
It is a trial. So after 18 months, they may assess that. Oh, lo and behold, it still doesn't work, even in California.
Yeah, but they haven't tried it yet. How do you know if it's gonna fail or not? How do you know?
It's
gonna fail.
Well, here's the real deal.
Yeah.
Because this is privately funded, it won't look like it failed.
Of course.
After 18 months.
Yeah.
And so then they will implement it with tax dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Then it will fail because they cannot generate the income, funds necessary. Well, and they'll expand it. It's not going to be for 100 residents. There's not only 100 people in poverty in California. You know, it's going to expand.
Yeah.
It's going to be funded by taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
They will not be able to afford it.
Yeah.
And then it'll just further bankrupt the state.
So, question of the day: does the government ever scale back anything?
No, they don't.
Ever?
No.
I mean, like they neutered Obamacare, but you know, by getting rid of the mandate for or what is the penalty if you don't pay it and stuff. But Obamacare still exists. Like, government never scales back anything. Like, we still have people, and I was talking to Matt about this before the show. We still have people in Iraq. We still have soldiers in Afghanistan. We still have people in Korea. We still have people in Japan, and that's just from the industrial war machine. We don't slow down things. Government never scales things back. This is why they never keep budgets. Yeah. They never keep a budget in any government, especially at a federal level. State-wise, you know, Florida's pretty good at it, but like federally,
Texas is great.
Yeah, Texas is great, but federally, they never stay in a budget. What do they always vote on? Oh, well, we're going to shut down. Well, we're going to shut down the government, or we need to expand the budget. And what do they always do?
Expand the budget.
Expand the freaking budget.
Which means borrowing more money from countries like China.
Yeah.
Or just printing money because countries like China won't lend to us anymore.
Yeah, so...
And that does wonders for the dollar.
This smells exactly like what our federal government does here in Stockton, California.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
They're gonna run it. They're gonna use this as a great PR event, and they'll show the 100 people that are helped out. And don't get me wrong.
They'll hail it as a victory.
Yeah.
You know, universal basic income does work. Yeah, but it was privated by.
Yeah,
it was
by
funded
charity.
by private donations.
Like and
for 100 residents.
And I'm not like insensitive to the fact that this might help people out. It might help some people out, but in the long run, is it really helping people out? Is it?
You know what would help the people out? If maybe stuff in California didn't cost so freaking much.
Or if they had more jobs.
Yeah, if they had.
That's
yeah,
weird.
Exactly. If you weren't taxing corporations into oblivion, so if they had to move to places like Texas and turn Texas blue.
Yeah.
You know?
In Florida, thanks for moving here. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. And that's the thing is like all the socialist utopias, all these really left-leaning places. Like, at some point, do you look around and say, "This isn't really working, man"? If you're in New York City and you're ocasio-cortez, and you're there for the last day of business at a place that you used to work, based on the policies that you uphold. But the thing is, the irony of that situation is I don't think that she realizes that her policies actually destroy that. But
no, definitely not.
But you know, she's coming out like that. If you're following us live on YouTube, which you should be, she has no concept that what she's implementing destroyed the business that she used to work for. And here's the thing in Stockton, California, they're going to hail this as a victory. They're going to put it into law, and then magically, guess what's going to happen? Somebody's going to suffer for this bad boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you, Matt. I hope that they do that. No, I really do. I really hope that they do this. I hope they put it in law because guess what's going to happen? California will split into three. It'll happen.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about it for years and years and years. At some point, like, there's a lot of conservatives in California. It's a big state. Mm-hmm. And there are people that don't want to pay for this crap.
Yeah, there's just not enough of them because there's so many
living
in the giant cities.
Yeah, California will break off into the northern hippies with Silicon Valley. It'll break off into Los Angeles and everywhere else, like Fresno and all these normal places in California will say, forget this crap, and they'll thrive because of it. Mm-hmm. They'll thrive. Like, at some point, if you're Californians and you look at Texas and be like, man, why is Texas making so much money? Why are they tearing it up? Why are so many people moving to Texas? Why are so many people moving to Florida? Why? There's no state tax, and they're not doing crap like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is hilarious to me. It just blows me away. And, like, why are so many people from New York? We live in Florida every day. How many people from New York do you run into? Seriously.
A lot.
This is New Floridian, New York of Florida. I mean, it is. Like, straight up. And the funny thing is, like, there's a reason why people want to live here. It's cheaper to live here. As shocking as that sounds, being a pro-Florida guy, and I know you like to be in the mountains and freezing your butt off, and you got the beard and stuff. I get it. Okay? I get it.
It's like the woods, man.
I get it. But as a Ohioan who's in a, very purple state, you know what I mean? I don't really want to get state tax for living in a cornfield. If I'm going to get, I would rather spend my money going to the beach and having a job and having a chance, you know what I mean? So watching programs like this, it's like, it's sad because it's not going to work, but you almost want them to do it. I almost want them to do it. I want them to go so far left that they can't turn around. I want it to get so bad that at some point there's a revolution, not of violence. We're not advocating violence on YouTube or Alex Jones or anything, so don't shadow ban us in the middle of this. But at some point there's going to be a revolt. Like, this crap doesn't work and we got to move backwards, right? I think there's a Trumpian effect that happens when the left gets so bad. There's Trump is a referendum to Obama. This ocasio-cortez stuff, I'm excited that it's happening, actually, to be honest with you. I hope it happens. I hope something shocking happens in New York and she loses her district to a right-wing guy, you know? Yeah. And people from New York will even say it when that de Blasio, who was the guy mayor during 9/11, Giuliani. He cleaned up the streets. Yeah, it was a cesspool. Then he got in there and he got tough on things. Like Chicago's rebelling.
But stop and frisk was racist. So.
Yeah, but stop and frisk, stop crime. Who cares? Who cares?
Well,
Who cares? You call me a racist. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Is like people are like, oh, it's TSA is so racist and blah blah blah. But guess what, man? How many terrorist attacks have we had since 9/11? Just being real. Like on American soil with planes.
Yeah, but the problem with that at the same time is
besides the fact that 9/11 was sketchy.
In order to maintain this illusion of not profiling, people, which is what you have to do in order to. It's nonsense. You got little old ladies and little kids getting, cavity searched for, and it's like it's insane.
Yeah.
They're not cavities. I don't think they're cavity searched, but still, it's like.
But here's
why are you pulling this old lady aside to be frisked?
Hey man, they got they've got extra spaces to hide bombs, bro. That's what it is.
This little old lady from Ohio is gonna.
Here's the deal. Yeah, if you go through TSA, if you're like 65 or older, you don't have to take your shoes off. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to take your shoes off. You can keep your belt on. But no, I mean, like. But here's the thing. What is the issue? Is this like what is the remedy for evil? You gotta at some point. Sorry, I'm moving the mic. Gotta do it, man. Like at some point. If you let, who was I listening to today that said this, and I hate quoting Ben Shapiro, but he was kind of right on this one. Like, sorry. See, here's the thing is with Shapiro, I'm like 50-50 with him, so I appreciate what he's doing on the Daily Wire. It's good to have the intellectual jousting, but like, unfettered evil never rescinds into good. It never happens. Evil just gets stronger. You know what stops evil? More good. You know what I mean? And here's the thing: is like. Oh, stop and frisk is an evil practice. Yeah, but what's worse? Letting dudes just roam the streets and kill people and stab people and whatever. And we just watched a video about Paris.
Well, and they'll say it's because it disproportionately, that's the word I'm looking for. It disproportionately singled out black people.
Yeah, but the problem is disproportionately, mathematically, African Americans commit more crimes. What? Sorry.
No,
that's a statistic. It's a statistical fact. It is what it is.
I'm
saying that as a black guy. I mean, it's really real.
You're saying that they were just following the statistics?
Yeah, they're following the facts. God forbid. I mean, because that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, like nobody pulls over the Asian guy. They just don't. No. You know what I mean? Now,
except for driving too slowly.
Yeah, whatever. But
not the Asian guy.
But like right or wrong, I mean, like at the end of the day, like it's okay.
So ridiculous.
He's a closeted racist. I'm his shield.
I'm a white guy. I'm automatically.
You're
racist.
automatically racist, misogynist, homophobic.
Yeah.
You're evil. You're just pure evil, man. Kill the whitey. Yeah. You're a Christian too?
Yeah.
You believe that Bible thing?
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
Terrible.
Crazy.
The worst.
But yeah, like at the end of the day, like guess what? Like you have to protect. Like here's the deal.
You can't ignore reality.
You can't. There's bodyguards for celebrities for a reason.
Yeah.
There's bodyguards for a reason. There are bouncers at bars. You know why there's bouncers at bars? There's idiots. I used to be a bouncer. There are idiots. Mm-hmm. Now women are actually the worst people to bounce because they get crazy. But why are there bouncers at bars? Because people become idiots. Why are there policemen? Because people commit crimes. Like shocker, right?
Yeah.
If you want to prevent evil, guess what? Sometimes you got to do some things that.
Now here's the thing that gets conflated in this argument.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying right now is that black people just are just criminals?
No, I don't believe that at all. Because if that were true, I'd go break the law right now because I'm half black.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing
it's nonsense. They're conflating race with culture.
Yeah.
And so there is a culture of gangs. And,
there are cultural gangs.
Criminality.
I mean, there's skinheads.
Yeah.
Commit crimes.
Sure.
The essays commit crimes.
Yep.
Black gangs commit crimes. That's how it works.
Yep.
And if you let it.
And in New York, there's a large preponderance of.
Yeah, and it was
black
bad.
Gangs.
It was bad
Hispanic
for a while.
Gangs.
It was bad for a while. It's gotten better. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I don't think de Blasio's doing anything good about it, but at the end of the day, like, it got better. Chicago, like, people are rioting in Chicago, as we say, like, right now, because no one's controlling anything on the streets. People are just shooting people. Culturally, it's okay to just gangbang and shoot people. You know what I mean? Who wants to go to Chicago?
This gang killed your boy, now you need to go kill their boy, and then that cycle never ends.
Yeah, so what do you do?
That culture needs to be eradicated.
It's crazy. It's almost like a bad idea to let that go for a long time, right? It's like a bad idea to
but you can't the force that you've erected to combat that is bad for following the facts, where that leads.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. It's like, and we're not saying this on Plausible Foolishness that all people are all a certain way, but let's get honest with ourselves. A majority of terrorist attacks happen from old Catholic people?
Yeah, I saw in a.
Come on.
I saw in a. I was listening to something on talk radio.
Yeah.
And they had an imam and a Catholic priest and a rabbi, and they're speaking a bunch of bull crap.
Yeah.
And the imam says something to the effect of, it's Muslims are not in fact, most the majority of terrorist attacks are happening to Muslims.
Give me a break.
Well, that is actually true.
Okay. But
who are the ones perpetrating these attacks on Muslims?
White, straight, male Christians? No?
Other Muslims.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird. So there's a
culture. So he left out that little part. See, the Muslims that are getting attacked aren't Muslim enough.
Yeah.
For the radical jihadis. Of course there's not.
Yeah.
There's not, it's not every Muslim. Of course that, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of that.
Yeah.
Of course not.
It's not everyone.
But,
it's not all.
But here's the problem. There are some.
Yeah.
And they have and will continue to, I mean, just look at the news in Europe. It's like every other month, somebody's
terrorist attack,
driven a truck through a crowd of people or whatever.
Yep.
And who is it? Lo and behold, a Muslim.
It's
radical jihadi Muslim. Yes. And then, here's the other side of that. If you read any of the polls that are taken from these Muslim countries, they're sympathetic to them.
Yeah.
They may not actually endorse the violence, but they're not. They don't condemn it either.
Yeah.
They're like in between. Like there's no in between murder.
Well, here comes Lefty John. Well, Westboro Baptist is racist and blah blah blah. Westboro Baptist is 14 inbreds. Okay. It's not majority of Christianity, and here's where I'll give the flip side. Okay, just like I would be nervous going into a Muslim country as an American. For obvious reasons. I mean, they're beheading Americans, and they just killed those two biker people that were, remember the two bike cyclists that were just riding through, and then before they rode out, they literally were like, oh yeah, evil's a construct, it's not real. People are just, there's like no such thing as evil.
Bike tour through
goodwill.
Muslim countries.
Goodwill, because we're good Americans and nothing, or good, people from the West. What they're saying online is not true. People are nice, and they get ran over and stabbed to death by jihadi Muslims. That's kind of weird, and it's filmed. And it is literally taken. Responsibility was taken by ISIS, right?
It's so sick on both sides.
And here's the flip side. Okay, I am not going to let my kids be alone with a Catholic priest. That probably sounds terrible on this show, but guess what? Pennsylvania just came out with how many indictments of different priests? Tons. And here's the deal. That's not profiling. That's just being protective of what's going on. We want to protect America. God forbid. We want to protect the greatest, freest country of all time. Doesn't mean that you kick every person out that's a Muslim. That's not it at all.
No,
but here's the deal. There's clearly people, there's got to be precautions for a culture that's a threat.
There is a threat.
The culture of radical Islamists is, if you're not Islamic, they will kill you. Islam means submit. The flip side, there is clearly a culture in the Catholic Church of protecting priests that are pedophiles. I'm not letting my altar boy hang out with the Catholic priest. Not going to happen. Sorry. Not until they clean it up for a while. That's a black eye on the Catholic faith or whatever it is. Okay? But at the end of the day, it's the truth. I'm not letting my kids be around that. You wouldn't let your kids be around a convicted murderer or rapist or whatever. Are you profiling him? You're just telling the truth. You know what I mean? It's what was the one thing in the Washington? I don't know if you saw this or not. I'm bringing this up. We didn't go over this in the show prep, but did you see where the Washington Post was getting on ice because they arrested a guy who was driving his pregnant wife to the hospital?
Yes, I did hear about that.
Okay, so here's the backstory. Plausible Rubes. This guy, so the Washington Post comes up with this like, oh, ICE is terrible. They arrested a husband driving his pregnant wife to go get a C-section from the hospital, and she woke up and there was a nightmare scenario where her husband was arrested and she had to give birth without her husband.
She had her papers, but he did not.
Yeah, so he's an illegal immigrant. So all these cold, evil ICE agents, they're so terrible. 24 hours later, guess what you find out? The guy's convicted for murder in Mexico. Wanted. So he ran to the States to hide from a conviction for murder in Mexico. They don't, but here's the thing, they didn't tell you that. All they said was ICE is bad. They're bad because they went after people who are illegally here. And
especially just a normal family trying to give birth to their child.
Just a normal murderer. And they came here and had 4 kids. In America, he wasn't a citizen. But hey, man, he's a murderer. But he's okay because he's an illegal alien.
Twisted.
But that's the twist that's going on. And I get it, it's not all Muslims. But guess what? There are radical Islamic terrorists out there. That's a fact. There are rapist priests in the Catholic Church. It's a fact. Not all. I'm not saying every father and brother.
There are dangerous illegal immigrants.
There's dangerous illegal immigrants that just killed who? Mollie
Tibbetts. And here's the thing about that. Did you see the interview that Elizabeth Warren gave?
Oh yeah. Good old Elizabeth Pocahontas, right?
So it's like, okay, girl goes missing. Turns out murdered by an illegal immigrant. Basically, she was on a jog.
Yeah.
He comes up and is trying to
Yeah. Get with her.
Won't leave her alone, and then she never returns from that jog.
That's weird.
And so, this guy's been in the country for 7 years.
Yep.
And he's here illegally. And he kills a girl. And then you got all these people on the left. You got Elizabeth Warren giving an interview, and she's like, she gives her one sentence long.
Yeah.
Talking
point.
Her one sentence long, like heartfelt.
My heart goes out for the family.
Yeah. That kind of thing. But we need to take care of illegal immigrants. I went down to the border a month ago, and spoke to people who had their children taken away from them, and they were just scared and confused, and there was no plan for them to get back their children. And it's like, wait a second, a month ago?
Yeah.
That
controversy was over.
True. Yeah, that was taken care of. In fact, a month ago it was
executive order.
They were pretty much done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the month before that the executive order came out.
Yeah.
And then within a month they were pretty much done. All the families had been reunited. And
are you saying a lefty lied?
Oh, I know that sounds
crazy.
Pretty much par for the course, but yeah, I'm saying it again.
Now, she was mad at a policy that Trump instituted, right?
No, she was mad at a policy that was the result of a court case during the Clinton era.
What?
Yeah.
So wait a minute, you're saying that Bill Clinton himself, not Hillary, we're not in an alternative universe or anything like that.
Well, the Supreme Court during his, I believe it was the Supreme Court,
during his watch, separated kids
basically
from illegal immigrants.
Made it illegal, made it so that the government had to, when an adult was being processed for a criminal act. And then what Trump did was actually process those people for the criminal act of illegally entering the United States of America.
Oh, that's weird. So he enforced the law.
Yeah, he enforced the law
that a Democrat
that already exists.
Oh,
and then
now it's an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So gotcha. But we already covered that in another show. But yeah, I mean, like, think about it. But this is liberal logic. Like, at the end of the day, this is what we're talking about. Like, okay, at the end of the day, there's a thing called truth, right? Mm-hmm. Now, here's the problem. There's those on the right that believe that truth is truth, and there are people on the left that just believe that you speak your truth or whatever. And I think that's when it all diverges. But at the end of the day, at least the right is principled in what they believe is true, right? Mm-hmm. And when you see things like this on the left, where oh, we want to increase the minimum wage to give a living wage, but then we're going to create and stifle growth in the economy and then lose those people's jobs. That to me is terrifying in the first place. Secondly, then we've got people like Mollie Tibbetts, who is a legal citizen of the United States. Imagine if we would have enforced our laws and not let this guy in, or made him go through the legal process of coming through. Do you think that might have changed the scenario or changed what was going on? Think about it. Think about this, the guy murdered in Mexico. Imagine if we would have stopped that guy at the border and not let him go in, and we wouldn't have this problem in the first place. Just imagine what would happen if we actually enforced the laws of our country and stopped listening to this liberal lunacy. What would the world be? Like, because here's the deal. Play out liberal policies. What does it get us? What does it actually get us? What does socialism get us? Here's the good news.
Poverty.
We know what it gets. It's called Venezuela. It's called the USSR. It's called, ultimately, fascism. What does capitalism given us? Think about it. What has capitalism given us? The freest, wealthiest, most prosperous country of all time. And we're almost like destroying it from the inside because we're just allowing this lunacy to go through, and yet we're racist, stupid, and whatever for just sticking to the principles that ultimately will give us a better life. The closest, what is Jesse Lee Peterson says, the closest thing to heaven on this side of life that we can have. You know what I mean? Is America perfect? No, but at the end of the day, like, we got to be able to criticize obvious liberal lunacy when we see it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm crazy. Am I crazy for thinking that?
Well, some would say. Here's the other thing I want to say to those of a leftist bent.
Gotcha.
I'm going to read this. This is a quote from a commentator on, I think it's MSNBC.
Of course. Where else would it be?
It could be CNN.
Or ABC.
And so she's claiming, her name is Christina Greer.
Okay.
And she's complaining that Fox News isn't covering the two major stories on Tuesday about Paul Manafort and Michael Cohen.
Okay.
You know, this whole the Trump warpath. Right?
Okay, gotcha. Trump.
So she says, I've been reading the alarm on this show for months now. The separation of powers is not working because the Republicans have not stood up to this president, not once.
Okay.
So even if there is a guilty verdict from Manafort, even though Cohen has turned himself in, 8 counts here, 8 counts there, I still think that they have been so willing to move the goalpost every single time with this president. They are working on behalf of President Trump, and he's been able to bully them into their silence, and I don't think today changes as much, unfortunately. Greer continued. I'm sure we'll hear what he has to say about this at his rally, but Fox News is talking about, a girl in Iowa, and not this, right?
Oh my gosh. She really said that?
Yeah. So that is what they think about you. They do not care about you.
But they do care.
No, they do not care about you. They don't. Elizabeth Warren's up there. She gives her little platitude, and then it's on to the talking point. This woman is concerned about the Trump warpath, politics. All they care about is politics because politics is their power. It's their bread and butter. They don't care that Mollie Tibbetts got killed by an illegal immigrant at all.
Kate Steinle.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. No. If you were to get killed, they wouldn't care less unless you were a talking point that could win them power and money through political means.
Unless your name's Mike Brown or Trayvon Moore. Sorry.
Again,
oops.
Power.
Unless you fit the narrative.
Through political means.
Only if you fit the narrative, my friend.
Yes.
If you died, they wouldn't care because you're a white, straight male.
Exactly.
You just gotta tell them that you're Jewish.
And even then, they would preach all day long, and they still wouldn't care.
Yes.
Because they wouldn't be advocating policies to help the situation at all.
Yeah.
They would only be advocating policies that entrench their power.
Yep.
And make them fat stacks of cash.
Yeah.
They don't care about you.
No, they don't.
They don't care about anybody.
Well, play out their policies.
I'm not saying that the Republicans are like these angels of light come to save us.
We've never claimed to be Republicans. Think about that.
No,
you and I have never claimed to be Republicans because
I vote
they're feckless,
Republican.
they're weak, whatever.
I tend to vote Republican because the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
But there's still a decent amount of evil there.
Is there going to be a Trump party? Would you jump on the Trump train?
I hope not.
Instead of a donkey or a elephant, a lion, like no,
more like a hairpiece.
Hairpiece.
No, but no, I wouldn't, because the Trump.
I was fine. Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. That would be personality over principles.
Yeah.
You would join the Trump party because Donald Trump is the leader of the party.
Well, I like Trump because of what he's been doing in the office, but I understand.
I like Trump because of
fair
that
enough.
too. I just don't like Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
so to your point, like, play out the liberal policies, okay? They want to censor your speech. Does that help you or hurt you? Think about it.
If you play it out in a situation that isn't the current situation.
Yeah.
Like if suddenly something that you believe
can't be said.
Can't be said.
Or prosecuted for you saying it.
This is it's a two-edged sword.
Yeah.
You can sure, right now you're cutting your enemies.
Yeah.
But eventually those enemies can cut you right back, because public opinion never stays the same.
Yeah.
You're handing the mob, the fickle mob,
yep,
a weapon with which to destroy you.
No, that's weird. So flip side, if you kept free speech and protected it, does it hurt you? Does free speech hurt you?
It helps you.
Even hate speech, does it hurt you?
It hurts my feelings.
Okay. But think about that, okay? Let's go to amendment number 2. We'll just go down the list, okay? Getting rid of the Second Amendment, does that help you or hurt you? Think about it. Toughest gun laws in America are held by Chicago. And people are dying all the time there. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
From gun violence, no doubt.
From gun violence. It's so weird. So the crazy thing is we get entrenched in school shootings in gun-free zones where they've gotten rid of the ability for people to carry guns in schools, and they're wondering why there's a body count in those places. What they never highlight.
Okay, you say that the gun laws are so strict. How did these criminals how did these people who are committing the murders get the guns? I mean, they purchased them legally, right?
Well, they would say the NRA is giving them to people. Have you seen the political ads?
Like they did for they did for the black people when during Jim Crow they tried to take the guns from them so that they could protect themselves from the KKK.
That's weird. Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, that's
wasn't that the Democratic Party? Anyways, moving on.
Yeah,
Democratic Party. But there was a switch, bro. There was a switch. I love it when I say that and bring that up. Dixiecrats, man, it just switched over, bro. It never changed. But anyways, moving on.
One person. Strom Thurmond.
That's their whole case.
But who was a Byrd? What was his first name?
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Robert Byrd.
Yeah.
Robert Byrd. To his dying day, a Democrat. And our Lord and Savior, Obama, praised him mightily.
Yeah. It's weird.
At his funeral. But he was high up there in the
he was like a grand wizard in the KKK, in the Klan.
In the old Klan.
He was like best buds with Hillary too, but hey, ignore that. Ignore that.
They love minorities.
They love the minorities.
They love minorities.
So, but yeah, play that out. So you take away people's ability to protect themselves, then people who are going to break the law anyways in Chicago, you're a victim of that situation. You become a victim, and they never talk about the shooting in Texas where the guy went to the church and started shooting, and another guy with another AK-47 stopped the guy with an AK-47, shot him, killed him.
AR-15.
AR-15. Sorry about that. Sorry, I love AK-47s. That's why I just like saying it. But no, like think about it. AR-15 versus AR-15. You combat evil by being able to remedy evil. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You take that ability away. Well, guess what? That's not a caring thing, and they're going to mask it in. Oh, the NRA's evil. The NRA is the reason why the school shootings happen. It's not the NRA. No NRA members ever shot up a school. Sorry, it's not true. But they're going to use that. They're going to play on your emotions. But they don't care about you. Imagine if there was actually, if there's an armed guard that had some balls in the shooting recently in Florida, a lot less people would have died. Let's get real with ourselves. Mm-hmm. If you're armed, guess what? Less people will commit more. They'll commit less crimes. It's crazy how it works. But crime's going to happen no matter what. Do you want to be the good guy with a gun or the good guy without a gun? Which one do you want to be? I don't know. But the left doesn't want you to have it because they don't care about you. Go through all of their policies. And they don't care.
And they have no problem lying to you to get what they want.
Listen, they push Planned Parenthood on you because they think, it's better. It's just better for families that kids are murdered. But they don't talk about infertility after the fact of an abortion. They're talking about shout your abortions now. Good old Oprah's talking about shout your abortions. Yeah. And we're funding the murder of people. Mm-hmm. But then
they don't talk about the psychological.
They don't talk about that at all,
except to push their bogus talking point, which they use all over the place, that, it's because of the stigma.
No, it's because you killed your own kid.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't talk about 51% of African Americans
you had a life inside
don't
of
exist.
You and you murdered it.
Yeah, 51%.
No, actually, you hired an assassin to murder.
Yeah, they don't talk about 51% of African Americans don't exist because of abortion. They don't talk about that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
They don't talk about Planned Parenthood being almost exclusively in minority communities.
Yeah, they don't talk about that because at the end of the day, they're saying compassion, but they don't give a crap about you. They're pushing policies that force single mom homes. Guess what? Those aren't working.
Have you heard of Louis Gosnell?
No.
If you haven't, look him up.
Look it up.
Look it up. And then come back to us and talk to us about abortion.
Yeah. I mean, they're pushing policies of, like the government welfare state to create single mom. I mean, literally create single mom situations. And they think that's a good thing out of compassion. It's not. It's detrimental to kids. Look at any research. Any research. What are the 3 indicators of success in America? It's they said no matter if you're white, black, red, yellow, if your parents stay together, you have a great shot of being successful in life. If you graduate high school, you got a success at being successful in America. If you wait to have kids till after you're married, you got a good chance of being successful. It's like almost like non-existent that you'll be in poverty if you do those 3 things. Like, it's kind of a crazy stat. Yeah. But the left pushes the opposite. And that's the thing, is like they're pushing a narrative based on compassion, and the reality doesn't meet the road. They're like, oh, we got to save the planet. But at the end of the day, their policies aren't saving the planet.
No.
They're trying to tax you for global warming that nobody can conclusively prove, or even say that, like, anything can be done about it, if it does exist. All of the stuff that they're dying on a hill for does not help you. They don't care. And you can see it in the midterm elections right now. Their only policy is, we hate Trump. How's that helping you?
Because Trump's tax plan helped you in your paycheck.
If you're an African American in America, it is the highest employment rate ever recorded in American history.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a woman,
there's no reason for it to think that it won't continue growing.
This is the longest bull market in the stock market. Everybody's like, well, the stock market isn't a good indicator. Okay, I get that, Ben Shapiro. I hear you, okay? But markets are flourishing. People are being employed. It's crazy out there. It's kind of crazy how that works. Like, there are opportunities out there for people under this evil guy, but they're pushing at you that it's evil, that he's an evil, bad guy. Even though you're winning under him, and approval ratings are going through the roof, and they're mad that they don't talk about Cohen and what was the other guy that got in trouble?
Cohen and Manafort.
For political, what did they get in trouble for? Stuff that happened before, like 10 years before the election for one guy, right? The lawyer.
I'm not even sure.
Yeah, it's just stupid stuff.
Like campaign finance stuff, and like Manafort had some tax issues, and
doesn't every politician break the law of that? Every one of them. Unless you're the right and you're Dinesh D'Souza and you go to jail for it, but that's another thing. You know, he got pardoned, right? Trump pardoned him. I love that stuff. But back to my point, think about it. They're more obsessed with dudes that you will never ever see. You're never going to meet Donald Trump. I hate to break it to you. You'll never see Donald Trump, but you're going to feel his policies. You'll never hear about Cohen or whoever these guys are. Mueller, all the crap that they're focused on will never affect you where you're at. Never will.
And here's the other side of that story is that. As much as like unemployment is back up, the power's even before when it was down, the power was still in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
His policies are affecting people, and the policies before affect people, but ultimately this is America. The power is in your hands if you will take it, if you will go out there and work it. You are not. The left wants to tell you that you're destined. To be in the situation you're in, because institutional racism,
sexism,
history
misogyny.
Of slavery, misogyny, whatever.
Whatever
the situation is,
evil Christians.
Yeah, whatever it is, why are they telling you that? I mean, could it be true? Possibly, except that people all the time, every day, are breaking out of those situations.
But there's no women CEOs out there, man.
No, that's not true.
Oh wait, there is?
Yeah, one of them ran for president.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
African Americans don't, there's no billionaire African Americans.
No, that's not true either.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, one of them ran for president.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. Weird. Oh, man.
You are the captain of your destiny.
Well, a black guy can never be president, so.
Yeah,
oh, wait.
That's true.
Oh, he's half black.
A black
it counts.
guy,
Still counts.
Yeah. Does it?
It does. It counts.
To some people, it doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
To some people, it doesn't. But that's a culture thing.
Yeah.
So, look at your culture.
Yeah.
Look at yourself. And look at what people are telling you and think, why are they telling me this? One hand, it could be true. But don't just blindly take it, because ultimately, and here's what we believe, they're telling you that because they want to keep you under their thrall. You are very neatly under their thumb.
Powerful people don't want power. Come on, man. Powerful people want less power.
What's the saying? Power
corrupts.
Well, I thought it was like makes nicer.
Oh, power makes nicer.
Power.
People don't want it.
Yeah. Power uplifts.
It uplifts everybody.
No? Yeah, no, it's power corrupts. Yeah, absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely. That's weird.
Yeah.
But we know this, but here's the problem. 50% of Americans, 50% of the viewers will throw their power to some government bureaucrat because they think that
because they bought the lie.
Yeah.
They bought the lie that they're just stuck.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do, bro.
And there's somebody smarter out there that will fix it for me.
Yep.
There was a comedian that was talking about this the other day. Like, the depressing thing about growing up is when you're a kid, you see all these adults and they're driving cars and they've got jobs and all this fun stuff and they've got their act together and everything's great. And then you grow up and you realize that no one has their act together and everybody is basically the same intelligent level when you were a kid. You just got more experience. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with these politicians. The amazing thing is there are people in this country that truly believe there are people smarter than them that can make better decisions for them, and this is why we're in situations like this. We believe that Ocasio-Cortez can save us, and she has no concept of basically anything with politics, but she could possibly win a seat and make decisions that could affect you and me. That's hilarious.
And on one
that's
side,
hilarious to me.
On one side, that's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She is just a worker who chose to run for office and won a seat, you know?
She hit the pavement.
She's an American success story.
Yep.
In that respect.
Yep.
But at the same time, she's telling everybody that you can't do that.
Exactly.
You can't do that, and you need socialism to even the playing field
you need
for
me
you.
To do it for you.
I mean, it's the same thing with Obama.
Yep.
Their message is, I made it, but I'm special.
Yes.
You don't have what it takes because of the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Whereas the conservative message is, you have what it takes, and the thing that's standing in your way is government.
Yeah.
The thing that's standing in your way is this addiction to welfare that you have. Mm-hmm. The thing that's standing in your way is
your addiction to government. I mean, the addiction to believe this idea that somebody out there is smarter than you. Like, so there are people that believe that Hillary Clinton's smarter than them. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like, no offense. If anything, this cycle, do I think that Trump's smarter than me? No, I do not think that at all. Not one iota. I support the guy. I don't think he's smarter than me. I think he's more politically savvy than me. I think he's playing a smarter game than politicians are. Yeah. He's not smarter than me.
Hillary's really talented at obtaining power and corrupting institutions and stuff.
Taking money from rich Saudis and Russians and whatever.
Yeah.
She's really good at that.
Selling American uranium to Russia.
And taking oil from Saudi princes, or taking the oil money. But
or stealing money from charitable donations to Haiti.
In Haiti, yeah.
Yeah.
How ironic.
And getting away with it. That's the beauty.
Yeah. If you're a Haitian,
that's what she's really excellent.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, they're very crafty people, but they're not smarter than us. They're not better than us. And that's the beautiful thing about being a conservatarian. Like, I don't believe there are people out there smarter than me. At the end of the day, like, I don't believe that our educational system can teach my kids as well as I can. I believe I can do that. That's the individual choice. I don't believe that government is going to save me in that situation.
Oh, and here's the beauty: the statistics are in your favor.
That's true. That is very true. I don't believe that a cop can get here on a dime to save me right now. I don't believe that. I want to be packing some heat to be able to protect my family. Does that make sense?
Amen.
I don't believe that the government on its own will protect my freedom of speech like we're doing right now, just like we got shadow banned last week. I don't believe it. Because they'll let some technocracy, some tech company out there silence what we're trying to do. I just don't believe in the government systems. Because think about it. What in government actually works? You've all been to a DMV. If anybody's been to a DMV and went there and be like, man, that was a really efficient process. Took me 2 seconds and didn't cost me any money. Shenanigans. You're full of it. Yeah. I went to go get passports for my daughter to go to Mexico. That was a nightmare. It took forever. And that was a small little thing. It drives me nuts. To get your driver's license, it's not easy because it's government run. Government is not the answer. Government doesn't create great things. I'm sorry. Yep. America's great because of its lack of dependency on the government. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it takes you 3 hours to get a driver's license, but you can get a pizza to your house in under half an hour.
You can get it hot and ready from Little Caesars, man.
Yeah, you can get a burger made for you in 10 minutes or less.
It's crazy. I think you can create...
Especially at the drive-thru.
You can create a social media profile and have 100 followers before you can get your license, man. Yeah. That's a private company. It's crazy. You know, and then everybody's be like, well, these private companies have the right to ban people and blah, blah. That's cool. You know, that's fine.
I mean, there is truth to that.
There's a lot of truth to that.
There is truth to that. But at the same time...
No.
You know,
is it right?
Is it right?
Yeah. I mean, abortion's legal, but is it right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, you can in Chicago. It's they have tough gun laws, but is it right? I don't know. Is that right? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But we got off a crazy tangent on this.
We
bad
do
boy,
have
man.
one more story.
One more. Una mas.
We're getting passionate tonight.
We're just intense today, bro. It's okay. We're riding with it. Lean with it, rock with it, as they say, man. That's a little bit old. I'm showing my age. That's an old rap song.
What'd you say?
Lean with it, rock with it. Yeah, it's old. It's back on my coaching days. Oh my goodness, I see a weed plant on that. What's going on, man?
All right, we're talking about some... this is actually a really important topic.
Okay.
And I would say another reason why you can be sure that the left doesn't care about you.
Okay.
Because you probably haven't heard too much about modern day slavery.
What? Well, we're fixated about 1800 slavery still here. We're fixated on that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's what we're fixated on.
That's in the past. The past is done.
What?
And while
while
it's debatable whether or not there's still ramifications today.
Sure. What's actually happening now?
There are things that are happening in the here and now that are pretty atrocious.
Okay.
So this is a story out of the UK from Thomson Reuters Foundation.
UK, like United Kingdom?
Yeah, the United Kingdom.
Super conservative country, right?
Since 2016, police have found 314 illegal cannabis farms, according to Scotland Yard. Data obtained by the London Evening Standard. Actually, it looks like this is from the London Evening Standard.
Okay.
Experts believe there are potentially thousands of children from countries such as Vietnam who are being trafficked. Wow, trafficked. Gosh.
Trafficked. I'm
tired.
It's all good, bro.
Who are being trafficked
you got this.
and exploited into modern slavery in the United Kingdom.
What?
So these cannabis farms are trafficking children in to work these farms. And probably other atrocious activities.
Interesting. So these are legal farms, right? Or they're illegal?
Cannabis is still illegal in the UK.
Okay, gotcha. That's weird.
So the farms are illegal.
Interesting. So illegal farms, they would hire legal. I mean, they would hire like.
No,
they don't. They don't hire legal people.
They found an awesome free source of labor. In children.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. We're not about slavery, right?
Oh no, we're definitely not. Slavery was an intense evil.
Why aren't we talking about this more often?
That's a good question. I don't know why. To be honest with you, I really don't.
I mean, we had the Taken movie, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Social commentary. Mm-hmm. There's sex slaves like all over the world right now. There's tons of stuff going on in Muslim countries too. Which is Muslim ironic. Countries. That's weird.
And even here, it's happening in Haiti.
Yeah.
There was a story several months ago about there's this organization called Operation Underground Railroad, and they basically they exist. They're like ex-military guys, and they exist to to infiltrate these organizations and bring them down.
Nice.
And so there's this one woman who is running this child sex trafficking, like the biggest in the country in Haiti. And they brought her, they got her.
Good.
And then the judge let her off.
Why?
Because she had paid him.
Oh my gosh.
She owned him.
I mean, but that's an example. The government works really well, right? But keep going. Sorry.
But here's the beautiful thing: the new president of the country found out about this.
Jeez.
I think the guy who heads up OUR worked with another activist in the country and actually got to meet with him face to face, and he was so outraged by it that he immediately went to work with his team, probably his legal team, to get her, and they eventually did take her down.
Praise God. Wow. Jeez.
But they come across all kinds of stuff. Ravi Zacharias' daughter works with these situations in a more like charitable way to try and like help with the actual victim, bring them out of the life that they were kind of sold into at birth, and it's insane. It's sick. Yeah, it's sick. And there's like rich people from America going to these other countries to go have sex with children. Yeah. So it's happening here. Yeah. People are being trafficked out of here. Yeah. People are being trafficked into here from the southern border. Child trafficking is happening all over this country, all over the world. It's madness.
Wait, it's happening at the border?
Hear, oh yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Well, like most of the reason why they separate these children is because the person that has them and claiming to be related is not actually related.
Why don't they talk about that?
Oh, because it doesn't hurt Trump.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, keep going. Sorry about that. Yeah.
See, Trump is evil.
It's all about hate.
So we're
Trump,
gonna lie about things.
Truth.
We're gonna lie about things to expose his evil. Yeah. Isn't lying evil?
Yes. Huh. Omission's evil. Yeah, that's weird. Okay.
Interesting. So yeah, so like apparently it's a huge problem. These cannabis farms.
Jeez.
And potentially thousands of children and young people are being trafficked from Vietnam and exploited by these ruthless criminal gangs.
What's UK doing about this?
So in 2015, the government passed the Modern Slavery Act. The legislation called for more protections for vulnerable people and for life sentences for those found guilty of human trafficking.
Oh, nice.
Earlier this year, however, the British government received backlash when it refused to grant asylum to a Vietnamese orphan who was trafficked into Britain, forced into slavery at an illegal cannabis farm. Last year, more than 2,000 exploitation victims were referred to British authorities, up by 66% over the previous year. Britain is home to at least 136,000 modern-day slaves, according to the Walk Free Foundation's 2018 Global Slavery Index.
Are you serious?
200,000 or 136,000.
What are they doing about it?
I mean, they passed that act,
but like, I mean, they have control of their borders and stuff right now, right? Like they're like,
well,
sorry, too soon.
I don't know.
I mean, it just. So here's a real crisis. So when people are like up in arms about things that are, no offense, are very irrelevant, like what Trump said yesterday, why aren't we focusing in on stuff like this? Why aren't we trying to stop things like this? I mean, because clearly it's happening in America too. It has to be. Like, if it's happening in the UK, it's definitely happening here.
Yeah, and we're how many times larger than the UK?
Yeah. Just saying.
I mean, the UK probably fits in Rhode Island, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's bigger than that. Yeah. It's bigger than that, yeah.
Pennsylvania.
It's a big country, okay? I rode a train across it, okay? I went from London to Glasgow and Edinburgh.
But you know what? You'd be surprised how many, like, you know, how easily these other countries fit into just a single state.
That's true. That's true.
You know, of the U.S. The U.S. is huge.
Yeah, it's a big place.
You know, I mean, it's no Russia. It's no China.
America, baby.
Well, actually, it's probably bigger than China. I don't know. Either way, it's still huge.
Yeah.
And so we're considerably larger than the UK. It's got to be happening.
Yeah.
It's got to be happening.
So why aren't we attacking that?
This needs to be eradicated from the earth.
Yes. Especially coming from America, that we're so sensitive to slavery that happened in the 1800s. Yet this is happening right now. Sex slavery is happening right now. Cannabis farms are happening right now. This stuff is happening right now. People are being trafficked. People are being enslaved, and we're not talking about this at all. Like, and here's the thing, like for the rubes out there, like, we bring this stuff up because it's like, I love that you brought this up and brought this to the table, because like, just like we talked about, like the farm killings in South Africa, nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about sex slavery. Nobody's talking about all these other things that are happening right in front of us. This is a modern day crisis that we're dealing with. But we're not even dealing with. There's a modern day crisis that nobody's really dealing with. And if it's happening in the UK, it's definitely happening here too. So why aren't our politicians attacking that? Especially people on the left, especially people on the right. And I'm calling the right out for that too, obviously, because they need to be protecting people and so on and so forth. But it's atrocious to me, man. Mm-hmm. It's atrocious.
Yeah. Right. It makes me think about like the people who are buying these drugs.
Yeah.
You know, who are buying the people in the UK that are buying cannabis are supporting child trafficking.
Supporting it.
Yeah. People in the US are supporting the murder of the Mexican people from, you know, these drug cartels.
Yeah.
You know.
Wait, are you drawing a correlation?
Now, granted, no.
Are you drawing a correlation between drugs and like bad things?
Yes, but granted,
is plausible.
We also are to blame. I mean, I do believe that the war on drugs is to blame for
I agree.
The birth of the cartels. I mean, it's the same thing that we saw. You know, there was no mafia until Prohibition.
Yep.
In America, we outlawed beer, and then suddenly, here's a lucrative market for us to be criminals in.
Corleone.
Yeah.
Make an offer
so
and can't refuse.
Then we start this war on drugs, and lo and behold, the cartels are a bigger problem than ever.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I get where people are you know, I get the prohibition of these. I understand it. And it's something I struggle with, to be completely honest with you. I struggle with it as a libertarian because I'm like, at the end of the day, like, we prosecute people to the nines for drinking and driving. I mean, think about that. Your life is done if you get a DUI. I mean, you are. I mean, you always have that on your record. You know what I mean? Well, you're not done, but it's still really bad because you could actually harm and hurt people. We are going after the war. Shouldn't be on the substance. The war should be on the activity that people do under these substances and whatnot. So, especially like weed. Like, no offense, I'm not afraid of a hippie, a pot smoking hippie to hurt me. I'm not.
Here's the deal. You know, what right does the government have to say what you put in your body? It's the same. I mean, it's equivalent to the Free to Try Act or whatever. You know, where you know you're dying of cancer, and because this drug hasn't been approved by the FDA, you can't take it and try to save your own life.
Wow,
that's freaking nuts.
Yeah.
Screw you, FDA. You do not get to tell me.
Yeah.
That I can't take this stupid drug.
Yeah.
To try and not die.
Yeah.
You know? I'm dying anyway.
Yeah, true. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, who are you to tell me not to do that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting deal. I mean, and that's the thing, like, this, if weed is legal in Britain, none of that exists. Think about that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there might be still the illegal farm because it'll be regulated.
Sure.
But
you're not
on the same scale,
yeah,
no, because it's not going to be as lucrative.
No,
because it'll be widely available, and not you won't have black market prices. You'll have, I mean, well, the government will tax it, and then that'll increase prices. But
don't get me wrong, I make fun of a good pothead from time to time. I'm not in. That's not the drug of my choice or whatever. Mine's caffeine and saturated fat. But the other thing, the deal,
iron.
Pumping iron, yeah. But that's another discussion for everything. Like, why can't you take roids? But because of sports cheating. But anyways, moving on. Sorry. Have you ever seen Bigger, Stronger, Faster?
Not yet.
Gotta see it. Very good. All you rubes out there, watch it. Mike Bell is. It's free on Netflix. You gotta watch that movie. Bigger, Stronger, Faster. Very good. Yeah, very good. He does another one called Prescription Thugs, which is really good as well. Kind of goes after big pharma and stuff. But that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, you legalize these things. You've created jobs and you've eliminated illegal exploitation of labor like this. You have. Mm-hmm. You've exploited it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, clearly, you can't do the opposite with like sex trafficking, all this crazy stuff. You can't do that. That is morally reprehensible. But as far as drugs, that situation is cleaned up immediately if they make it legal.
Yeah, and the other side is, okay, you're saying, and it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Like drugs like heroin and cocaine 100%. Destroy people.
They do.
Destroy people. But that situation hasn't gotten better in what we're doing.
No.
On top of that, we have countries like Portugal to look at and see their addiction problem was astronomical, like crazy, not anywhere close to what we're looking at. There's probably other factors to that.
Sure.
But what did they do? They made all drugs illegal, or legal. Yeah. They legalized drugs, and then they took a small portion of what they were spending on the war on drugs and spent it on rehab services. And they don't have that same problem today.
What?
They don't.
That's crazy.
So look it up.
That's weird.
It's real. Huh. A real example of what's been a leftist talking point for a while being actual.
When they do it
but
right.
But the thing is that it's really not a leftist. It's a classical liberal argument.
Classical what?
Yeah, it's
classical liberal.
It's an argument for liberty.
For less government.
For less government.
Oh, weird.
For less government intrusion and for the freedom to do as you please.
Should my tax money go towards busting a crack house? I mean, no offense. Should those guys put their lives on the line for a crackhead? I don't know. Now, should we protect people from those crazy crackheads? Yeah, but let's get real. Like, to your point, I mean, at the end of the day, like, if we're just if what we're doing is incarcerating people for choices they're making to their own body, we're not really fixing the problem. We're just putting them in a cell and making them worse animals than they are. I've watched plenty of Netflix to see I'm a killer to see this stuff going on. You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, like come on, man. Like at some point, like to each his own. Do your thing, but as long as it doesn't infringe on other people's freedoms or safety, to each his own. You know what I mean? I don't care. Yeah. I really don't care. As long as you stay. But here's the beautiful thing: if we let that play out and let me have my gun for Second Amendment, it's not going to be an issue anyway. So I'll be able to protect myself, which is weird, which is a conservative thought. But it is what it is, man. It is. Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. It's a not so fun fact, but something that our rubes need to hear about, man. You know what I mean?
I've never done drugs in my life, just so you know.
Just do a lot, bro.
No, I'm not.
Just go hippie,
I have no
bro.
interest in
smoke the dope.
Altering my state of mind.
Be cool, bro. No. I mean, Jesus is about altering your mind.
I've never been cool in my life.
What? Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs at all. It's stupid, man. It's been a good one today, man.
I agree,
dude. Good night. It was fun. We got after a little bit. We're on YouTube exclusively now, man. So make sure you share us. The big thing you can do with YouTube is even if you don't catch us live, share us, man. Subscribe. Ding, ding, done. Oh, wait, we can't steal that. That's from What Culture Wrestling. But, guys, make sure that you share us, man. Subscribe. Send us your information. We appreciate everybody that's following us on Instagram.
Share us on, Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter. Good old Twitter.
All that jazz. I think we're doing the best on Instagram, aren't we?
Insta is killing it, man. But I'm an Instaholic, so you know what I mean? Yeah. I love me some Insta, man, so it's a lot of fun.
So I mean... if only one of our places blows up, if you love whatever you love, we're there. But
it's because they like seeing our memes and our pretty faces. That's what it is.
Yeah. Join us on Instagram. Share our video on the Facebook.
On the Facebook.
Subscribe.
And,
on the Twitter.
Yeah. And
Come on, just spread the love.
And here's the deal: if you got an extra buck in your pocket, we're in a Trump economy, okay? Why are you investing in stocks? Invest in Plausible Foolishness. We will give you a big return on your investment. We will bring you
of entertainment.
We'll bring the noise. You want to hear these beards and hear these opinions all day, man? Because guess what, man? At the end of the day, might be it's a little bit foolish, a little bit plausible, but if you listen long enough, you probably heard a little bit of both. But I don't know. What do you think, man?
I think it's time to go.
Let's rock and roll, man. Hey, thank you so much, guys, for listening. And like us, subscribe us, share us. See you next week.
Transition.